Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome to another pick a card reading here at Transform with Rian. And in today's reading, we are doing part 2 of Future Spouse First Impressions. The first video was about your future spouse's first impression of you, and in today's video, it's about your first impression of your future spouse. So if you haven't watched that other video yet, excuse me, oh my gosh, please make sure to go check it out. But for today's reading, we need to get our options here as far as what is your first impression of your future spouse. So just like the other reading, we're going to use the marble cards here to be our options. And let's get one more for you all to choose from. And that's the one. So the first option for today is Spectrum. This card has been really popular on the channel. We also have She-Hulk. And we have Winter Soldier. So I'll show you these three options together so you have one more look at them before you make your choice. So see which one calls you the most to find out what will be your first impression of your future spouse. So I will see you at your reading. Timestamps are down below. Hello there, Group 1. Welcome to your Pick a Card reading to find out what will be your first impression of your future spouse. So it's part of our little two-part series of Future Spouse First Impressions. So you were drawn to Spectrum here. And what I'm getting as far as your first impression of your future spouse is that your future spouse seems to be one of those people that often gets overlooked, that often is maybe like behind the scenes or in the shadows in a way, right? I'm getting this vibe of a wallflower. Do you know what I mean? Like that type of person at the parties or at the clubs or whatever who doesn't necessarily stand out. They're the ones that are kind of like chilling along the wall while everyone else is in the thick of things, is like dancing and partying and being loud and crazy. And they're the ones that are kind of like observing. Okay, the ones that are kind of like chill and cool, relaxed. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting. Also, I'm sensing here too that it's almost like you see your future spouse as someone who's not really trying to impress other people. Like it's almost like they don't really care what other people think, you know? And there's something about them that's actually quite unique, quite different. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that caught your eye, right? That made quite the impression on you. It could be something to do with their looks, right? Like maybe there's some feature about their looks that's very striking, very unique, you know, like bright hair color or like a unique haircut or hairstyle. Maybe it's the way that they're dressing. It could be that, or it could even be something about the way they think or the way they speak, right? Like maybe you overhear them say something to you that is very thought-provoking, right? Something that kind of maybe helps you look at something in a different way, or something very intelligent and novel to you, something new, right? And that's very like intriguing to you. It could even be, you know, even in like a group discussion or something, like a team meeting at work, in one of your classes, like a group project, a seminar, a conference. Like they say something that you've never heard before, okay? And that's very striking to you, very memorable to you. I'm also getting this sense that you see your future spouse as someone who's also quite curious. Like they're not the one, again, to be center of attention, like be in the limelight. They're that person that is observing, wanting to understand things on many different levels, right? A very curious mindset and energy is how you see your future spouse. Someone who's like knowledge seeking, like that type of vibe. And again, someone that is just so subtle, so low key. I'm thinking of this line from like a Pussycat Dolls song. It's called Love the Way You Love Me, is the name of the song. Maybe give it a listen. But the beginning of one of the verses is like, Mr. Invisible, tell me how did I miss you, boy? How could you have never caught my eye? Were you there all along, or were you just shy? Right? Like that's like those lyrics make me think of how you see your future spouse, right? Like someone that you maybe didn't notice at first, right? Or maybe someone that your eyes naturally don't kind of move towards, but then they say or do something that catches your eye and gives you pause and like maybe a double take, or you give them a little bit more consideration, you know? I'm really feeling called to draw one of these cards. I'm not sure why this surrender deck wants to be a part of this reading, but you know, we're gonna trust in it. We're gonna trust in the messages here. I feel like it's actually these two. And something about this deck as well. This Twin Flames. Okay, so let's roll with it. Let's roll with it and see what comes through. Okay, so we have those two. We have this one. And I feel this one. Okay, so let's see what this is all about, because I'm not sure why these were calling to me. So it says, surrender stress. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. And the other one was surrender unhealthy relationships. Ooh, interesting. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and to be surrounded by positive people. Okay, I feel like we need to draw and reveal all of these cards so that we can receive that message. So we have Hidden Path, Twin Flames, oh my goodness, Unawakened, and Vibration. Okay, so what I am getting so very strongly for many of you is that your first impression of your future spouse is, again, there's this like curiosity, this sort of like I feel you saying something like, that's weird. I wonder why this person is intriguing me, why I'm so interested in this person. Because I feel like what I'm getting is that you probably think your future spouse is a little bit weird in some way, a little bit odd, okay? And I'm getting that this is not the usual person that you would find yourself attracted to when it comes to love and romance, okay? They're not, I don't feel like they're sort of your ideal when it comes to looks and appearances. I feel like you're going to be drawn to your future spouse because it's a vibrational thing, okay? It's like a twin flames. It's a destiny thing. And with this energy of twin flames, like, you know, so many people have different ways of defining a twin flame, and so many people maybe have ways of romanticizing the relationship with a twin flame, that type of thing. Regardless of any of that, what I'm getting here is that there's something about how opposite to you your future spouse is that, again, is very intriguing for you. It's kind of like a question or a problem you just can't stop thinking about. You just can't let go, right? And you're just trying to figure out the answer, trying to figure out why, and there is no concrete answer to this question. It just is, Okay, so I feel like your impression of your future spouse is like, why am I so attracted to this person? And there is no why. It's just destiny, it's just vibrations. And maybe the why will be answered after you've had this relationship, okay? After you've gone through this period together of being in each other's lives, being partners, you know, then you'll maybe understand why they came into your life. And it might not even be a singular why. You know, there might be many reasons why you are drawn to this person and they will be drawn to you, you know? And again, I feel like it's a soul thing that you are just going to feel, although your brain's going to try to deny it. You're just going to feel this pull towards them, okay? And what I'm getting here with this unhealthy relationships and this stress is really, it could be that the type of person you normally go for is not the type of person that's a good match for you, that's will know how to treat you right, you know? I think that's sort of a very common storyline and narrative for people with relationships. It's like they feel like they keep picking the wrong type of guy or type of girl, you know? And I think that's maybe where you're at when you first meet your future spouse, is kind of like, okay, the people that I keep going after, the people that I keep falling for, like, they're no good for me. Like, it always ends in heartbreak or pain or upset. And you're kind of in this phase of maybe I need to do things a little bit differently, right? When it comes to dating and stuff. And your future spouse is going to be that one that changes it. Again, because they're not your usual type, is what I'm seeing here. They're not someone that you would even think twice about, you know, with this hidden path. It's like you are finding things about yourself that you didn't think were possible. Like, you never thought you'd be attracted to this type of person. You never thought this was who you'd find yourself in a relationship with. You never thought you'd be interested in this type of thing, right? And you're going to find that that is the case when it comes to your future spouse, that they're opening up this whole new side of you that honestly is going to be healthier and less stressful, okay? So we're moving away from these energies when it comes to love and romance for you, because your future spouse is just someone different than your usual, than what you've done in the past. Okay, so I'm feeling it's this deck that wants to contribute to your reading. So let's see. And I feel like this one too. Okay. So Tarot of the Divine has the Five of Wands for you, the Five of Swords, oh my gosh, Five of Coins. 555. What the heck? So it could be, you know, 555 is an angel number. So it could be that you're going to be seeing a lot of fives, a lot of this sequence 555, right before you meet your future spouse. And it could be too, as you're questioning this relationship, this possibility, you're going to be seeing a lot of 555. So your angels and your guides are kind of letting you know, like, yes, get to know this person, follow this path, follow this feeling, even if your brain cannot make any sense of it, okay? So, ooh, I love this. It's getting juicy. We also have the Nine of Cups. Look at that. Wishes being granted. Happy partnership. Happy relationship. Ooh, yes. I love this for you. And King of Wands. So this is a phoenix bird. So I'm feeling this is sort of like a bit of a rebirth for you. Like, again, a whole new chapter, a whole new life, where you are being called to kind of just trust, okay? Because again, this is going to be so different. He or she or they, if they're non-binary, are going to be so different from the type of person you're used to dating, the type of person you're usually or typically attracted to, okay? And so this is a fresh start. It's like you are rising from the ashes like the phoenix. You are leaving this past behind and starting anew. And I feel like too this like approaching the light, okay, where you've learned your lessons now when it comes to love, um, and what works for you and what doesn't. And now it's time for you to be in a very healthy relationship, a very long lasting relationship where you are seen, you are loved, you are treasured, you are protected, right? And you feel good. And I think that's the big thing. There's something about um, how you feel versus what you're seeing and what you think is the perfect type of relationship. So trusting this feeling is what I'm getting here. Because if you look at these 555s, right, they're all cards of like conflict and struggle. We have this person crying because they lost something. We have these people fighting because they can't agree. We have this poor little match girl who's out in the cold trying to stay warm, right? So there's this energy of in your past, you know, it's like you never felt like people saw you, were listening to you. You felt like it's like you're always fighting to keep this relationship alive, keep this relationship going, fighting for attention, fighting for love, fighting for affection, fighting to just get a hug and some affection, right? I feel like that totally rhymed. And it's also making me think of this song, Creep. Um, there, she goes, I creep around because I need attention. I don't mess around with my affection, yeah. And so, like, I don't think you had that proper amount of those things, attention and affection, in previous relationships. And something about your future spouse, maybe it's going to start out as a little bit of a whisper or a bit of a feeling that they can provide this for you, that they will actually truly see you and treasure you, okay? um, and I think, you know, even though I said this isn't your usual type when it comes to maybe looks, maybe even some parts of personality and things, you will come to find them actually very, very attractive, right? I'm getting the vibe that there's someone that will sort of grow on you. It's going to feel like this feeling where, like they had, if you felt like maybe they had always been there, and then you'll start to see little by little, gradually, you'll become awakened, because here we have the unawakened card, to your heart's true capacity for loving someone else, okay? And that love, what's so beautiful is what I'm feeling is that love can only grow once you allow it to take root, okay? That it can grow into something super majestic, super beautiful, just like this heart-shaped tree here, okay? Again, you're going to have your doubts at first glance, first impression. You're going to have your doubts and be like, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know why I'm drawn to this person. It makes no kind of sense. Like, they're definitely not who I would ever go for. But they are going to fulfill you emotionally, okay? And that's going to mean so much for you once you've had that experience, which is in such contrast to some of your previous relationships. Wow. So I love this. I love this. So exciting. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. If you liked this reading, if you're claiming this energy, make sure to hit that like button, please. I would really, really appreciate that. And it would go a long way in helping with you bringing this person closer into your life. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button so that you will be made aware when I post a new reading for you to enjoy and receive insights on. And again, if you haven't watched the first part of this series, where it's what is your future spouse's first impression of you, make sure to check it out on my channel. I will see you next time, loves. Thank you for hanging with me. Hello there, group 2, and welcome to your pick a card reading here to find out what your first impression will be like of your future spouse. This is our part 2 of future spouse first impressions. The first video was about your future spouse's first impression of you. And so you were drawn to the She-Hulk card for us to find out what is your first impression of your future spouse. So with the She-Hulk card, what I'm getting is there's something about your future spouse's physicality that is going to catch your eye. So it could be that they're very, very tall, okay? Could be maybe that their build is a little bit stocky. Maybe it's a bit muscular, right? They have a very defined musculature that's going to stick out to you. Kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting something like this to come through, but for those of you who are attracted to female-bodied individuals, something about their breasts, I know, a little bit random, but something about their breasts as well being a little bit bigger and more noticeable for you. So that's what I'm getting with this, at least when it comes to like first reaction, first response to your future spouse, is that there's something about their physicality that's like big to you, right? So again, height, maybe muscles, chest is really big, butt could be big as well. Because what I'm seeing, which is so striking about the She-Hulk character, is that she is really tall, you know, for the average female. And I've seen her in sort of recent comics of the Avengers where she kind of takes like this Hulk like shape and body, you know, where it's like really overly muscular. So there's something about that. I'm also hearing too, it could be hair. So like really big hair, maybe it's sort of like maybe Afro style, right? A lot of volume. Maybe the hair is also just really dense, you know, like some curls even could give it a more dense look. So it's not thinning, right? It's very luscious, very lush kind of hair. Also eyes or lips. I'm also seeing that that could be something that stands out to you as well, like very big eyes that are almost like doe eyes in a way, nice full lips. There's something too about them that you kind of know when they walk into the room. Okay, it's a little bit in contrast to the first reading of this video where that person is kind of more in the background, kind of like subtle, low-key energy. This energy from your future spouse is like someone that is noticeable, okay? Someone that people will like kind of see, like you can feel their presence when they walk into a room. There's no missing them, there's no mistaking them. And of course it could even be like their height is like a big part of it. It's making me think of, I think it's the name of the movie is Tall Girl on Netflix. Yeah, there's like a part 1 and part 2 where there's this girl who's like really, really, really tall. And she feels kind of a bit of a, you know, outcast, and she doesn't like being teased for being so hot, so tall. And then there's this foreign exchange student who's also pretty tall, because most of the guys in her class are not as tall as her, and so she feels very like insecure about that. But it's kind of like making me feel that vibe. And it could even be too that your future spouse, perhaps they do have a little bit of insecurity surrounding this physical feature of theirs, right? Maybe it gets them unwanted attention sometimes. So that's starting off our reading. I'm actually drawn to get some tarot cards, but from multiple decks. So this one first. So this card, these two. And then Spirit is guiding me to grab from this deck next. So we'll reveal them here in a moment. And, okay, not that, this one. So the Fablemaker's Tarot. Okay, so we have this, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that one wants to come too. It was really fighting for. Okay, so this is quite a few cards to get us going. What do we have here? So we have King of Wands. And we also have here King of Swords. Wow. 2 kings. And we have 2 of Wands. 8 of coins. And from the Decolonized Tarot deck, we have Strength. Oh, beautiful, beautiful card. And we also have Page of Cups. The Lover's card. This is beautiful. The Lover's card showing up in a future spouse reading. That is a very good sign. And we have the Queen of Coins here. Ten of Cups. Another amazing card to have show up in your reading about future spouse. Nine of Cups. Wow. This is amazing here. I'm loving this combination of tarot cards for you. 4 of Cups here. And, ooh, the Tower. Okay, so, firstly, I can't even resist talking about this right out of the gate, but you have the Lover's card, you have the 10 of Cups, and you have the 9 of Cups. So these 3 cards right here are just letting me know that this is like your dream match. This is your dream partner here. Like, this is everything you could have ever wanted in a relationship, in a future spouse. I would say they pretty much check off almost all of the boxes in what you would desire in a future partner here. Okay. This is amazing. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Make sure you hit that like button right now if you're claiming this dream partner, your future spouse, okay? Because I just feel like the energy is there and you need to just connect with it, okay? So what else am I seeing here as well about first impressions? I'm seeing here that with the 2 of Wands, that you can tell already that there's more to your future spouse than meets the eye. That there is, it's almost like there's this face that they show everybody, just like the general public, and then there's something about them that's a little bit more vulnerable. Is what I'm seeing here with this 8 of coins. There's some other side to them that's a little bit more vulnerable. It's almost like maybe they have this impression for people who don't know them very well that they're very lighthearted, easygoing, like goofy, foolish, they smile a lot, but deep down inside there's a little bit more depth to them. There could have been like a little bit of pain. We have this Tower card, and also too with this 8 of coins, that there's a little bit of pain. Maybe there was something from their past that was really difficult for them, right? That makes them feel sort of insecure and unworthy at times, you know? Maybe they lost someone close to them early on in life. Maybe their parents separated and it had a big effect on them. Maybe at one point in their life they were really bullied, you know, and that created a bit of insecurity within them. So it's like they try to put a smile and this sort of like carefree, jovial, jolly green giant energy out there for just the sort of everyday people in their life. But you know, those that know them well know that there is something that they are struggling with. Okay. Um, it's making me think of the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus, like her TV series, where everyone thinks it's like so cool to be famous, to be a celebrity, to be like well known, and it also comes with its own challenges and its own drawbacks, you know? And I feel like that's kind of maybe how your future spouse feels. You know, so for example, it could be their height, right? Like people like, oh, you're so tall. That's like so cool. Like you could be a great basketball player, right? Or you never have to worry about reaching things on the top shelf. Like, you know, people kind of see only the good parts of whatever their situation is, but they don't see that it also comes with its challenges. Like there's two sides to every coin, right? There's always going to be some positives, always going to be some negatives, always going to be some pros, always going to be some cons. And it's the cons and the negatives that I think people don't recognize with your future spouse that they struggle with, you know? Now, there's something about the King of Wands and King of Swords because they both came out in this first deck. And there's also this Queen of Wands. So it almost feels like there's something a bit regal about your future spouse. Maybe you can see this in them, that even though there's something that is very eye-catching, eye-grabbing about them, that they're not attention seekers. Okay, remember I was saying like you'll know when they walk into the room. You'll know, you'll feel their presence, but it's like it's not within their control, you know? And I feel like sometimes they wish that they could just fly under the radar, that they weren't always so noticeable. So there's a little bit of softening, of humbling down of that energy of look at me, look at me, look at me, because they're not, again, they're not attention seeking. I feel that, you know, in general, what I'm getting is that a lot of people, aside from you, a lot of people do have the wrong impression of your future spouse quite a bit. Like they're mistaken. Like a lot of people make assumptions about them that aren't true and in some cases are very far from the truth. But I feel like you pick up on that right away, okay? That there's something deeper there. There's something more of substance beneath the surface that is calling to you, is what I'm hearing. That even though maybe your future spouse tries to come off as pretty confident, there's this child within them that is maybe, you know, not so confident, that can be a little bit scared, a little bit anxious and worried at times. And I feel like you pick up on that, you know? And that maybe they don't give themselves enough credit for being as strong as they really are. So I'm getting the sense that you're very intuitive, because this is really deep as far as like first impressions go. Like, you are probably a psychic, an intuitive, like you're really tuned into those gifts. I believe everyone has intuition and psychic abilities. It's just whether or not you cultivate that skill within you, you know? And I feel like you are one of those people. I'm getting that so strongly from your reading, because all of these things, these first impressions, it's like you know how to read people beyond just sort of like, oh, look at how she's dressed kind of thing, you know? I feel like we need to draw one of these cards. That's what Spirit is telling me next. Okay, it's this one. And it says, I will forgive. Interesting. So I'm seeing here, like looking at this little Pegasus unicorn right here, how tiny it is compared to the angel. And usually, like, you know, horses are pretty big creatures compared to like a human, or humanoid, I guess we can say, because in the case of an angel. And so what I'm seeing here is, even though there's something so big about your future spouse's energy or part of their physical appearance, they feel very small on the inside. And there's that gentleness inside that you pick up on really, really easily, even if there's something a bit daunting about their personality or their physicality, right? Like sometimes people who are really tall or really muscular can be a bit intimidating, a bit scary, but you actually sense that genuine, kind-hearted goodness within them that maybe other people who are not so aware or in tune don't pick up on, right? It's like those characters on TV shows or in movies who look really scary, but they're actually like big soft teddy bears. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's something about that vibe your future spouse has that you notice. Um, and I feel like too, it's a part of their journey, which you get about your future spouse. Your first impression is like, this is someone who, you know, had some difficulties and some challenges, and they're meant to heal those, grow beyond those. Okay, I think that's that big part here with this forgive. Again, maybe they were teased about this feature, like, oh, having big eyes or a big chest or being super tall. Maybe they were teased by someone about that, or if they had a lot of muscles, like maybe people thought that they were just a dumb jock kind of thing, right? And it's about them forgiving those harsh words and the people who said them and moving on, right? And just being who they are and being proud of who they are. And I think, I get very strongly that you will help them with that. You will reinforce that self love, because you will really adore them. Again, my God, Nine of Cups, Ten of Cups, the lovers. It's almost like the things that you love so much about them, it's almost as if they hate that about themselves, right? And so you will help them love all parts of themselves because you will show that part that they don't love about themselves so much love, so much compassion, so much caring, and that will kind of help them with the healing. Whoa, totally not what I was expecting for your reading, but so awesome nonetheless. I love when things get so deep like this. So I hope you enjoyed your reading as well. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I'd appreciate that feedback. And please give this video a like if you're claiming this energy of your dream spouse and this beautiful union. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn the notifications on. That way you don't miss out on any future readings when I post them. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to go back and watch the first part of this series to find out what your future spouse's first impression of you is. All right? So I will catch you next time. Thanks for hanging with me. Hello there, Group 3, and welcome to your pick a card reading to find out your first impression of your future spouse. And this is part 2 of our 2-part series on future spouse impressions. The first video was about your future spouse's first impression of you, so you can check that out on my channel after this. But for this reading, you were drawn to the Winter Soldier. So again, your first impression of your future spouse, and I'm getting a lot of energy of almost like this enemies to lovers kind of vibe, okay? So there's something about your future spouse that perhaps might kind of like irk you at first when you meet them. What I'm getting is there's this energy from this card of someone who's very cocky, very full of themselves, maybe a little bit conceited, is your first impression, is what I'm getting. Like someone who thinks very highly of themselves, maybe a little bit too much. Someone who thinks that they know everything, that they have everything right. Again, like the sort of like cocky personality that's almost a bit overbearing, okay? Especially because this character represents like a soldier. So someone who maybe is a bit, what's the word? Contrarian in a way, right? Where it's almost like they find some reason to disagree always, right? They always have a different opinion. They always have a different idea that's likely better than anything that anyone else has said so far. Like there's some energy about that kind of like maybe annoys you, okay? Or it could even be the opposite. Maybe they're so soft-spoken and so passive and maybe weak in a way. You might see him that way. So the root really is like there's something about them that might rub you the wrong way at first, okay? Where you're kind of like, my gosh, like I would never hang out with this person, let alone like fall in love with them, right? There's something about that sort of trope that I'm getting when it comes to your reading here. So very, very interesting. Now, I'm feeling drawn to get some cards here from this deck, but also this deck. So let's get some cards from this deck first and see what we have here. So Spirit, so definitely take that one. And then we'll get this one right here. And what else? What else? So we have this card coming through. This one. I don't know why I feel drawn to that one as well. So let's start with this. Okay, no, Spirit is saying there's another one. All right, it's this one. You know, it's really crazy. I had a feeling this flipped out before when I initially shuffled, and I was like, do you want to be a part of this? And then I resumed shuffling, and then I redid it, and it showed right back up. So we'll talk about this in just a moment. Let's get this surrender card here. Because I'm already getting like a storyline coming through with the Nine of Swords, but I feel we need to get these cards drawn first. Okay. So before I reveal the rest, why don't we talk about this Nine of Swords first? So what I'm seeing here is, you know, the storyline that I'm getting is your future spouse really likes to talk a good game and project this image out there that they know what they're doing, they have everything under control, they're like God's gift to the world, right? But there's actually a lot of anxiety and worry within them, okay, that they really don't want to let show because they don't want to look vulnerable or weak. So there's something about their energy where they feel this pressure, okay? This pressure and this stress and worry that they have to do a good job, that they have to perform, that they have to be the top. And I'm getting the sense that a lot of this could be coming from like family pressures, okay? That maybe they have big shoes to fill when it comes to one of their parents, right? Or it could be that their family members expect a lot out of them, okay? And that's why they act the way they do. It's almost reminding me a little bit of F4 Thailand. It's like the Thai remake of Boys Over Flowers, one of like these famous Japanese mangas. Okay, let me know if you know that story down below. Let me know if you watch F4 Thailand. I mean, I definitely watched it because Bright, Vachitowit, and Win Metawin were in it. But I also watched the Korean version of Boys Over Flowers and remember like thinking it was a fun story. So I wanted to see the Thai interpretation of it. But anyways, in that character, the main lead out of the guys, he is, you know, the heir to this big conglomerate, this big business, and his parent, mainly his mom, I don't actually know what happened to his dad, but his mom is pressuring him to be strong, to be sort of this alpha male, to like take what they want, like run the school. If they can't run the school, how can they run the business? Like it's like a dog eat dog kind of world out there, right? I'm sure you've heard this, so you know what I'm talking about. But I feel like that's the main driving force behind your future spouse, because they really are a kind, compassionate person. It's just no one has given them the space to be that way. Everyone is expecting them to be like hyper aggressive, masculine energy, regardless of sex, you know, because there are women out there too who feel like they, you know, have to fight, always be like that bad bee, you know, to get what they need in life, to have success. And so I feel like that's really what's happening here with your future spouse, again, because we have this Nine of Swords that was just dying to kind of clarify and explain why your future spouse has sort of this repelling energy to you, you know? We also have, oh, look at this, Three of Swords. So I definitely feel that your future spouse is, you know, hurting quite a bit on the inside, but they're trying to put on a different face to the rest of the world. So we have the Star card as well, one of my favorite cards in the tarot deck. We also have the Seven of Chalices, Seven of Cups, the Sun card, and Two of Wands. Very nice. I love these wand cards in this deck because there's always, whenever the wand is there, there's usually this little wisp of energy that like radiates around the edge of the wand like magic. So what do we have here? So you definitely see your future spouse as someone who is like, they think of themselves as the golden child. And you know, perhaps their family treats them like the golden child. And a lot of people have a lot of hopes and dreams and wishes for your future spouse on who they will become. You know, again, if they're like an heir to a kingdom, for example. But they have a lot, okay? Like, there is this impression that you have of your future spouse that they have a lot in life. They have a lot of maybe material wealth, material belongings. It could even be that they have a lot of admirers, right? That you have this impression that your future spouse is very abundant, okay? Where it's like, oh, what else could they really want, right? They have everything. It kind of reminds me of how I felt some of my distant relatives in the Philippines felt about me when I was went to visit for the first time, because it, you know, I was coming from America, and so everyone kind of thinks that, oh, you're so rich because you live in America, and it's like, well, I'm rich when I come here to Philippines because of the exchange rate, but like I'm not rich back home. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that sort of misconception, um, misunderstanding. And I feel like your future spouse is someone who's often misunderstood, right? And I don't think many people actually know who your future spouse truly is. And I think you're going to be one of the few people that get to discover that, okay? Because what I'm getting here too with the Sun and the Star card here is, and the Sun, I'll show you them both together. So the Sun and the Star card, it's kind of like a lot of people are either very envious of your future spouse, or they really admire and look up to them, right? They have their fans and they have their haters out there. And you definitely, I think, can see that there's quite a few people who admire your future spouse. Some of them, maybe they like, you know, have romantic fantasies about your future spouse as well. And then other people, it's just like, oh, I just want to be them, right? And what I'm seeing here too with this Three of Swords and this Nine of Swords is, it could even be that your future spouse really keeps people at a distance. That they don't really let a lot of people into their inner circle. I'm really feeling like it's a protective mechanism, okay? Because they just don't want to show just how truly vulnerable they are and how maybe unconfident they are as well. Because, you know, everyone expects them to be this awesome, amazing person and, again, have it all figured out, have all the answers, like, be a top performer, and there's so much pressure on them. And I get the sense too that they really struggle with that they're, you know, they kind of wish in some ways for a different life, because this life is so full of stress and pressure for them, you know? Very, very interesting here. Now with this Two of Wands, I feel like what this is saying is a message for you is really try to put yourself in their shoes and try to understand where they're coming from. Because again, there's always two sides to a story. Okay, that's this Two of Wands energy is what it's telling me, is there's always two sides to a story. And you're only seeing one side of the story with the first impression. And again, because this is your future spouse, the calling is to really open up your mind, open up your heart to get to understand them, get to know them. Wow, all of the readings from today's video is like taking really different tones, and I love when that happens, right? So this says here, surrender to your soul's path. And this is the image here. And it says, your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. So I really feel like this is a message for you to maybe help understand where your future spouse is coming from. And then this is something that you can help them realize for themselves, okay, with time, is that even though things don't always feel perfect, in actuality it is, because everything that is meant to be will be, and everything that has happened was meant to happen, right? It's all perfectly and divinely orchestrated. And it's because the soul, I'm going to get a little bit deep here, y'all, is because the soul wanted to grow and evolve in this lifetime. So it agreed to living a life full of challenges, okay? Sometimes we have like maybe soulcations where the soul is just like, I'm just gonna take it easy this lifetime, totally keep it like low-key under the radar, just go through the basic everyday motions of life without a lot of hardships. And then other times the soul wants to have a lifetime that's very difficult, it's very challenging, so that it can learn new lessons, grow and evolve, have like a bigger outlook and viewpoint on the world and the way things work, how relationships work, how people grow, how people can surprise us, right? That type of thing. And so, I'm getting this like message here that those that are destined for greatness have to accomplish or overcome great feats, you know? And so it's these challenges that make people great, and it's overcoming these challenges. And that's part of the soul path for your future spouse. And instead of like fighting and like wishing that they had something else and wishing that life was taking a different direction for them, or wishing that they had a different life, it's about embracing their current life and realizing that at the end of it all, the truth is they chose this life. Okay. And I know that's not always easy for some people to accept and understand. But we only see pieces of the puzzle when we're on this plane. And when we, go to heaven or the afterlife or whatever you believe and refer to it as, that's when we fully can understand everything, that we went through in life. And so I feel like with this, your first impression of your future spouse is definitely one of maybe dislike, to put it mildly. And it's really finding that compassion, to really understand them and see where they're coming from and understand what they have to go through as well, and why some of these things maybe have shaped them into who they are. And that understanding will go a long way, because what I'm getting from your future spouse too is that they are very loyal, and they definitely are protective of those closest to them, to those that they treasure and value. Okay, that again, maybe they're not to everyone's taste, and maybe there are some less than flattering aspects of their personality, but when they care about somebody, they care. It's like ride or die vibes is what I'm getting from them. And they will have your back, and they will protect you. They will provide for you. They will love you. But you have to kind of see that in them, right? You have to kind of open up your perspective a bit for them, is what I'm getting. And you'll see how wonderful they really are. Very similar to that storyline again with Boys Over Flowers and F4 Thailand, is like, once you get past that sort of mask and that facade that your future spouse puts out into the world, you'll really see just how lovable they are. I feel like Spirit is saying one more card. One more card. I thought everything was done. I was asking Spirit, and they're like, hey, one more card. That's this one actually right here. I am treasured. That is so beautiful. And so, what I'm seeing here with this first impression is that, there's going to be a lot of things that you don't get, you don't maybe like about your future spouse, but also it's important to know that sometimes the things that we don't like in other people are the same things we don't like about ourselves. Okay, so that's like, again, getting kind of deep, going to shadow work territory. And so I'm also seeing that by showing your future spouse compassion, empathy, and love, you will receive that tenfold. Okay, that your future spouse is not oblivious. No, 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 no. They are very observant. And when they can see that someone truly cares for them, they will return that love and care like exponentially. So I get the sense that your future spouse is a very powerful lover. We can say that, okay? So I guess out of all of these three readings, your reading is one that says, don't judge a book by its cover, right? That old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. There's more to it than that. And I think that's how you can definitely look at your future spouse, okay? So let me know what you thought of your reading in the comments down below. If you enjoyed your reading in any way and it gave you some new insights, please hit that like button. I would truly appreciate that so much. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss out on future readings that I do and post to give you insight and to give you a little bit of joy in your life. So I'll take care. Yes, I will take care, but you take care as well. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for hanging with me.